e hoje a gente vai falar de algumas sugestões além da Croácia que eles fazem. Então vamos ter bastante sugestão de roteiro, muitos detalhes também de outros lugares. Então fiquem à vontade, as dúvidas podem ser pelo chat e depois a gente vai mandar todo o material para vocês por e-mail, as fotos, vídeos, sugestões de itinerário. Okay, so now we are ready, Andrea.
Perfect. Okay, so last time we had the lovely opportunity of presenting in detail our company, our team, and our products, and then we explored Croatia together. So this time we just threw in a couple of pictures to remind those who joined us last time and to maybe just draw in those who are here first time today. Our aim was basically to emphasize the diversity that Croatia has to offer, all the highlights, the stunning locations, and to show you all just how inspirative Croatia really is. Today, we are going to take you a bit beyond and show you a few really great itineraries and then some unique products of ours that we believe will spark a lot of interest and also hopefully start new conversations between you and your clients for next year. So we might as well begin with some basic geography that we touched last time too, for you to see the shape and location of Croatia and the neighborhood countries. And to emphasize the short distances, not just inside the borders of Croatia, but also from Croatia to the neighboring countries. So Slovenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro. Here you can actually see the distances that show you how basically how easy it is to visit the entire area and gather some truly great traveling experience. Ljubljana and Zagreb distance only 2 hours of driving, and then from Zagreb, when you go south, you need 4 hours only to reach Split, another 2 to reach Dubrovnik, and then another 2.5 to reach Kotor, Montenegro, which is really like these are truly short distances. And the whole territory this way also allows you to make a wonderful circular itinerary between these locations. So basically during your vacation, you can visit all of these locations, especially if you have 7, 10 or plus days. Now we are going to show you a few itinerary examples that have resonated really well among travelers. The first one is from Zagreb to Dubrovnik, a journey through Croatia's beauty. So this one is within Croatia. You can see the route here and the small map. It's an 8-day itinerary that goes from Zagreb all the way to Dubrovnik. It touches Plitvice Lakes National Park, Zadar, Split, islands like Vis, Hvar, and Pakleni Islands around Hvar. It touches Stone with the oysters, Pelješac with wine tasting, and then you end up in Dubrovnik. So let me just show you the highlights of the itinerary. Wines and bites in the countryside. This one is when you arrive to Zagreb. We usually prefer to leave the first day leisure time, but then the second day to explore the city of Zagreb and then to enjoy the countryside where you can have a wonderful wine tasting experience and relax in wonderful nature on sun chairs. From Zagreb, when you go down south, what we really love to do is make an en route stop at Plitvice Lakes National Park. It's sort of a must-see. And you have a 3-hour guided tour through the park, through all the 16 lakes of the park, electric train ride, boat ride, and a little bit of walking, of course, involved. Split, the historical walking tour of Split is also a must-do once you arrive to Split to learn about Diocletian's palace and why the whole city has been, the old town has been enlisted under the UNESCO heritage. When you are in Split, it's really easy to visit islands. We love offering island hopping from Split that includes the famous Blue Cave near Vis Island and a couple of more locations like Stiniva, the Hidden Bay, There are a couple of more caves hidden there. And then Komija, a wonderful fisherman village on the island of Vis. And then from Vis, you go back towards Hvar. You cruise to the islands of Pakleni Islands before stopping in the old town of Hvar. And then finally, you return to Split late in the afternoon. Now, from Split, the itinerary takes you further south to Dubrovnik, but of course you have to make a special stop, which would be in Stone for some exclusive oyster tasting picnic. Lunch can be included, wine tasting can be included here also before you continue your way to Dubrovnik. Once there, Dubrovnik is stunning by itself, but of course, the best way to see it is to actually explore it with a guide. So what we love to offer is a grand combo tour of Dubrovnik, which includes not only the old town, but also the walls and the cable car to Srđ Hill, which has stunning views. So it's a whole experience. Once you take this tour, you know Dubrovnik like the literally back of your hand. Another thing that we like to offer is Dubrovnik Food Story, which takes you through several shops to teach you about the culinary heritage of Dubrovnik. It's a really unique tour that takes you through the old town. Of course, all the itineraries that we are going to show you here today can be easily changed and adjusted. So there are a couple of things that can be also like included, like several stops. Inclusions here is accommodation, of course, all necessary transportation, professional local guides, Portuguese speaking, of course, guided visits in private arrangements, admission fees wherever that's applicable, and finally access app through which you have the whole itinerary available at all times. And there's also a messaging system where you can contact us directly. So our team is usually at disposal at all times. Here you have a price per person based on 2 people. These are net prices that are very much subject to the availability and season. And since they are net, you can add your commission, and we will always make sure to protect the travel chain in Brazil here. The traveling period for this kind of itinerary is usually from April to October, although if you choose April or October, then the island hopping might be, you know, you might not swim in the sea because it might be a bit cold at that point. You can spice up this.
Sorry, Andrea, to interrupt.
Yes.
So how long do you think it's important for the clients to book in order to keep like the best options for accommodation, guides in Portuguese, and all these details? So if they're planning to travel during the season, let's put June, July, would you recommend that they should book like at least 3 or 4 months in advance? What is your experience with this?
Yes, I was going to say no later than February, especially if they have special requests, like I want this type of hotel or this type of experience, or make a special stop here, special stop there, then it's very, very smart to do it well in advance.
Perfect.
So to spice up the vacation a bit, there are a couple of locations more on the same route from north to south that you can we can make a stop, like Deer Valley near Plitvice Lakes. It's a part of a family-owned estate where they have red deers and fallow deers, and also Slavonian pigs and 3 horses, where you can stop, enjoy the nature, and even feed the animals. When you go a bit further south from Plitvice Lakes, but before you reach Split, there's beautiful national park called Krka Waterfalls. And then on the north side of the park, there's Burnum. It's an archaeological site, a Roman legion camp and town known as a Burnum town. So it's really, really wonderful to see it. And there's a great museum, and you can learn a lot about the Roman Empire just by traveling through this area. The cooking class in Split is another we often say it's a must-do around here. It's a great team that we love working with, that will not just teach you something, but also make you laugh. You prepare your own lunch, you buy your own food, but everything under the guidance of a professional chef, of course. When you're in Split, then it's very logical that you visit other UNESCO protected towns. Here you have a picture of the waterfront of Trogir, but it's not just Trogir that's reachable from Split. It's also the ancient town of Salona and the old town of Šibenik, where you can truly admire the timeless beauty and the architecture of these locations. Near Zadar, you have Murlako Tastings. It's a tasting room with the most exquisite wine selection. And it was made in the middle of lavender fields. So there's a souvenir shop there. You can buy wine, you can taste cheese, prosciutto, and there are a lot of homemade lavender products to be bought. If you have a bit more adventurous clients, then definitely you need to visit Cetina Canyon, Cetina River, which is a bit south from Split. And there you have a fine selection of adrenaline-raising activities like rafting, extreme rafting, canyoning, extreme canyoning, zip line, rock climbing, and similar activities. Further south, much closer to Dubrovnik, and also a really great combination with the oyster tasting experience that we mentioned, that was included in that itinerary, wines and bites that have a great overlook at Pelješac and the bay. Now, the second itinerary, Beyond Croatia, explores the gems of Balkan. So now we are going to step out of Croatia a little bit to show you Slovenia, Combination, and Montenegro. This itinerary here, it's much longer, 17 days, although many of these locations can be put into, let's say, a 10 to 14 days itinerary, but then you just spend less time in each location. This is like if you have a lot of time and you really want to make an easygoing vacation, not jumping from one city to another all the time. This one actually starts down south in Dubrovnik. So you fly into Dubrovnik with a and then from Dubrovnik, you go to Kotor, which is in Montenegro, with a couple of tours there. And then you return to Dubrovnik to explore it. And from Dubrovnik, you just work your way up to the north through Split. And then, of course, Zadar, Plitvice Lakes, and you visit Istria. From Istria, you go to Slovenia, to stunning Ljubljana, Bled Lake, and then you finally return to Zagreb, from where you fly out. Now, itinerary highlights are definitely Kotor Historical Walking Tour. It's a captivating little coastal town that has really rich heritage and stories to be explored. In Dubrovnik, once you're there, a great highlight would be to do island hopping to Elafiti Islands, which is really stunning to do, even if it's just a half-day experience. Further north, Split Historical Walking Tour that we already mentioned in the previous itinerary. It's also a must-do, as well as the island hopping from Split. In the previous one, there was a Blue Cave and Hvar, but here you can choose to do the Brač version to visit the famous Zlatni Rat beach, or maybe just go to the Čiovo island and visit Trogir by boat. There are several versions of the island hopping. Here you basically rent the boat for the day and then just do the pre-planned itinerary on that day. Once you are in Istria, Rovinj and Pula, historical walking tours of these stunning cities are also a must-do, where you will uncover the rich history and cultural treasures of these truly charming, beautiful Istrian towns, and definitely visit the famous amphitheater, which is located in Pula. From Istria, you go further north and visit Slovenia, Ljubljana, and wonderful Bled Lake, which is great if you do a full-day tour. And you just sort of immerse yourself in the beautiful surroundings, the nature, the lakes, the woods. It's truly wonderful to visit it. And finally, the itinerary finishes in Zagreb, where you just have to do the historical walking tour of the lower town and the upper town and learn about the city. The inclusions stay the same. The traveling period stays the same, April and October, with the same note about the island hopping. You know, if it's October and April, if it's raining, there might be cancellations and or maybe even postponing the island hopping, or you are going to attend the island hopping, but maybe not swim and enjoy the sea. But it's still often a very wonderful experience. You also have the price here stated per person based on 2 people, and also these are net prices and are very much subject to the availability and the season. So this is something that changes based on the inquiry, of course. To spice up the vacation, while you are in Montenegro, there's a beautiful Montenegrin blue cave version that you can do. So there's some island hopping to do there. And it's really close to Herceg-Novi, and it's truly, truly beautiful. You can swim in there. When in Dubrovnik, if you're looking to do something a bit different and maybe similar to all those adrenaline-raising activities, sky bike experience is something you must try. You're going to drive the bike above the city with truly stunning views. In Split, there's feel like a local in Dalmatia kind of experience that's similar to the cooking class, but this one actually takes you to the hinterland, to the inland of Dalmatia, where you meet a local family and then just go through their garden, have them help them pick food, cook, and you learn about traditional costumes and taste homemade products and just enjoy local dishes there and just learn about the old traditional village type of life. When you're in Istria, something that you must not skip is wine tasting, as well as the truffle hunt adventure in Istria. There are several wine roads in Istria and several truffle hunting locations, all of these inland Istrian, and they're going to truly draw you into the true culture of Istrian everyday life. There's a really, really great sunset sailing program from Rovinj that's truly magical, and it's going to take you through the coast of Istria. And then finally, to spice up your vacation while in Slovenia, Postojna Cave and Predjama Castle are a must-see there. Now, if you don't have any questions about that one, we might as well go further on.
Sorry,
yes.
Can we just go a little bit? Yes. So
yes.
If we are thinking about Montenegro and the places to stay, what would you recommend?
Definitely, if you're up for a larger hotels, then one and only resort would be it. But there are also smaller boutique hotels, just depending on what the client wants. We actually have a great connection to all these. And yes, so we just recommend the type of the hotel that the clients want.
Perfect. And in Slovenia?
In Slovenia, we usually use Lustica and some other hotels that are usually like big chains. Oh. Like Intercontinental is one that we recommend because of the really, really great location in Ljubljana. And it has 5 stars. Really excellent service.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, another gem that that's we feel like it's yet to be discovered, but it's truly a gem. It's Albania. Even though, well, it's yet to be discovered by the world, even though the tourism is very well developed there. So we have a great itinerary that takes you through Albania for 8 days, with flying into Tirana and flying out of Tirana. Here you have a small map to see where Croatia is. and Split and Dubrovnik, and then Montenegro just below it, and then Albania is right there. So you can even combine it with Croatia. If you fly into Dubrovnik, stay in Dubrovnik a couple of days, and then go through Montenegro to Albania. This particular itinerary takes you from Tirana to Berat to Saranda, Dermi, and then back to Tirana with a one-day tour to Ksamil. Now let's just jump into the highlights. So once you fly into Tirana, you drive straight to Berat, where you can do the historical walking tour. It's definitely one of the prettiest places you've seen, not just in Albania, but in a wider region. There are several highlights to this location, but basically it's known for the houses and a lot of windows that seem like they will build one on top of each other. So it's really, really wonderful to see it. Gjirokastra, the stone city, is another stop in Albania that must be visited. It's a well-preserved city with really authentic architecture, and there's a fortress overlooking the entire city with old houses just below and a wonderful traditional local market if you visit it during the day. Lukersi Castle, it's a historical fortress located high above the city of Saranda. It's southern Albania, actually, and it dates back to the Ottoman Empire. And there's a really, really great view of the Ionian Sea and the countryside on the other side. Butrint, a famous archaeological site. It's actually a Roman city, one of the most important and historical and archaeological sites in Albania. That's really great combined with Ksamil. Ksamil is also known as European Maldives. It's the most beautiful and probably really well-known beach in Albania, known for the clear waters and a mixture of white sand beaches and white cliffs. It's truly, truly stunning. It's great combined with Butrint. So you spend a couple of hours in Butrint and then the rest of the day you just relax on the beach. Blue Eye of Albania. It's the iconic spring of Bistrica, a river that has stunning blue shades of the water, and swimming is allowed there, but it's freezing throughout the year. So that's something to probably to keep in mind. And then finally, when you go back north, you return to Tirana, where you can just feel the pulse of the city and immerse yourself in the culture.
Sorry, Andrea. So Danielle
Yes.
asked if it's possible to invert the itinerary and start in Zagreb, Slovenia, and finish Dubrovnik, Montenegro. Just to make sure these are just suggestions, right? We can design each itinerary according to the client's needs, right?
Exactly, exactly. But what we found with working with different travel agents is that if you haven't visited the country, then it's really difficult to kind of work in the itinerary in your mind to offer it or even to know what to offer to your clients. So these are frameworks through Croatia and neighborhood countries that will hopefully allow you and just make it easier for you when a client asks you, hey, is it possible to fly in Ljubljana and then see Hvar within the next couple of days? You can feel free to say yes, because now you know the distances. So these itineraries are truly just frameworks where you can see not everything that can be done, but most of the things that can be done and how it can be done in the best possible way. You can combine them in different ways. You can skip cities, add cities, skip locations, add other locations or experiences. You know, whatever the client's wishes, we can incorporate in one of these itineraries. The only thing that can be restrictive is if the client has, let's say, 7 days and wants to visit 3 countries. Then obviously it's a bit difficult because you have to go city jumping, start really early, finish really late, and that can be exhausting. It's not much of a vacation that way. But if you do have 7 days or 10 days and you want to visit from Slovenia to Montenegro, that can easily be done.
Perfect. And just to clarify, in case the advisors have questions about oh, should we include this or that itinerary, we can also schedule a call with you and with your clients as well. So then the team can explain why to visit this, Andrea can explain why to visit this or why to visit that, and also put together the best itinerary, focus on what your clients' interests and needs and what they're expecting for this trip. So it's really important that when you have a request or when you are suggesting an itinerary to Croatia or to the Balkans, you should also ask what they expect for this trip, so then they can design the perfect itinerary to each one of your clients.
Exactly, yes, exactly. And it's always really good to know the age group of clients and if they have any disabilities, because a lot of cities have, for example, the walls of Dubrovnik are basically built on hundreds and hundreds of years old stairs, and they are slippery. So if you have clients that have any walking disabilities or get tired very soon, then of course we are here to tell you, hey, maybe they can skip the walls and just see them from the inside of the town, and then maybe they can just take the cable car to search. Dubrovnik is just one example that I'm enumerating now, but the list goes on throughout whole Croatia as well as any other country actually. So it's always good to know the age group of clients or any restrictions that they might have, especially if we get a blank inquiry, meaning like we have 10 days sometime in September, 4 people, let's create something. Okay, so it's always better to know, to have more details. Now, yes?
No, perfect, that's awesome.
Okay, thanks. So the Albanian itinerary, the inclusions stay the same. Accommodation, bed and breakfast, all necessary transportation, professional local Portuguese-speaking guides, guided visits in private arrangements according to the itinerary, admission fees, and finally the Access app that I already mentioned. The traveling period would be from May to September. We sort of skip April and October here because most of the cities that are covered by this itinerary, or actually cities that people prefer to visit, like Dermi, Saranda, Ksamil, those locations are beach locations. There's nothing much to do there but to go swimming, snorkeling, or do some boat tours. So it's much better to travel to Albania from May to September because this period will allow you to truly enjoy the beach and the sea. You can see the pricing here per person based on 2 people. Again, it's a net price, so you can add your commission to this one. And yes, that's it. There are also a couple of ways to spice up your vacation in Albania. There's a beautiful location, Vlore, which is famous for the beach. You can see the small picture here. It's the 3rd largest city in Albania. Usually people take it as a short, like a beach break there. So beach lovers should visit this one, definitely. There's a beautiful Karaburun and Sazan, like an island escape there. It was enclosed for decades because it served as a military base. And thanks to that, it has a very well preserved nature, and it's surrounded both by the Adriatic Sea on one side and the Ionian Sea on the other side. So this kind of a isolation has created the Karaburno in a beautiful location with untouched nature and virgin beaches. There's a really, really fun activity to do scuba diving, where you can visit the MiG-21 wreck. But there are also shipwrecks in Albania worth of visiting. So if you're up for spending some time under the sea, this would be the activity to offer to the clients. Gami Mountain and Bovila Lake hiking, also for nature lovers. You do need to be a little bit fit to do this one, but there are a lot of hiking trails there and beautiful, beautiful views at the lake. Mount Daiti cable car from Tirana. It's a beautiful way to see the whole city from above and not to get tired at the same time, because obviously you will spend the time in the cable car. Krulje, it's Albania's famous historic castle and village that's really, really interesting for the traditional market. That's probably the best feature of the location nowadays, where you can buy everything and anything, and it's all in the Albanian colors. It's really, really interesting, and you can just explore the culture that way. Forza, the city of serenades, it's another location that can be easily made as an en route stop. It's well known for the carnival and different festivals that involve drinks and food, but it's also known musically. Actually, the local songs called Serenata come from, which is why it's the city of serenades, come from this city. It's basically a love ballad that men used to sing through the city and under the balconies. It's similar to those that you can hear in Italy or in some locations in Dalmatia, but a bit more famous here in Albania. And now, finally, we come to a true gem of ours, a product that we are very, very excited to launch for next year that has already resonated really, really well with travel agents and clients directly. It's Adriatic luxury cruise. So it's for all those clients that want to do some vacationing on the boat, because it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want and to explore. But why a luxury cruise? Having lived by the sea all our lives and spending summer on islands and sailing boats, we simply had the desire to inspire people to embark on similar journeys. So now we wanted to make one step further and add an additional amount of luxury to that. And the luxury that will be available to everyone and give them space to mingle and meet perhaps like-minded individuals. And all this on a very unique luxury cruise of the Dalmatian coast. So our idea was to connect a couple of key features here. So all-inclusive cruise under reasonable pricing, stunning locations, and small group traveling. So we combined all these factors into a pre-planned itineraries with 2 absolutely amazing boats that can accommodate up to 36 people total. Why choose a luxury cruise, you might ask yourself? Basically because it offers all the perks of luxury service on the boat and allows you to meet people with similar tastes just as you. And it has really general inclusions that you're going to get, but also a lot of spaciousness and a really, really great unparalleled attention and service that you would expect from a luxury cruise ship. Also, when you pay the whole service ahead, when you have everything included, then you just know that everything is taken care of, which means that you can relax and enjoy every moment of the cruise. And also, there's a lot of pre- and post-cruise pampering with luxury accommodation, private transfer services, and exclusive local experiences that are another plus on this one. Here you have another 10 reasons why you should choose it, but basically it's an easygoing way, effortless, to explore Croatian coast and to have some unforgettable experiences while enjoying luxury and comfort for normal, reasonable prices. There are activities for everyone, beautiful culinary delights, the thrill of being on the sea, making unforgettable memories, and very easy, convenient itineraries that will take you either through the central Dalmatia or from the south to the central. This is the first boat, Charisma. Here you have some basic info about the boat. It has 18 cabins, so it can accommodate up to 36 people total, with 8 cabins on the lower deck and 10 cabins on the main deck. The main deck has double cabins, twin cabins, and convertible cabins, twin or double, while the lower deck has double cabins, convertible, twin, and triple cabins. Private bathroom with shower box and home-type toilet and suite. It's a very well-equipped, spacious area on the boat. The interior salon features great windows, so you can enjoy looking out, dining areas and a bar. And then outside there's a jacuzzi and a lot of sun chairs to mingle and enjoy. It's a great place to chill, enjoy the nights, enjoy the day while exploring Croatian coast. Here we have pricing information based on weeks. So there are 2 weeks in June, 2 weeks in July, and 1 week in September with different prices. These prices here are per cabin, and you can see the difference between the lower deck price for the W's and the main deck price also for the W's. This is another boat, Riva, also a motor sailing yacht. 18 beautiful cabins with private bathrooms and can accommodate up to 36 guests. The crew of 11 people take care of the guests, and the cabin configuration is slightly different than the one from Charisma. This one has sun deck and upper deck with 3 VIP cabins, and then the main deck has 1 VIP and 6 double cabins, while the lower deck has 4 double, 2 twin, 2 triple cabins. There's a beautiful salon inside, stunning windows from where you can enjoy looking at the area, the bays, and all the locations that you are going to visit. Riva is also equipped with a lot of water toys, so it's not going to get boring even for those who are looking for something truly like adrenaline raising or a bit more active to do while doing the luxury cruise. And here you have prices for Riva. There's a week in May, week in June, 1 week in July, 1 in August, and 1 in October. That's actually fully booked already, so we can forget about that one. But still, these 4 remain. There are still cabins available on both these doors. So what's included in the price? The vessel, of course, with the crew, personal chef, full board with beverage package, hostess, pre-planned itinerary, final cleaning. The only thing that's not included are, of course, tips. Do we have maybe any questions before we go to the itineraries?
I don't think so. I think it's on the chat, it's calm, so I think we can go over.
So let's go further on. As I said, one of the perks is a pre-planned itinerary that you get with the boat. Each of these dates have different itineraries, but we are actually offering 2 for these 2 boats. The first one covers the central Adriatic route. So you go from Trogir, which is a small town near Split. The first stop is Brač. Then you go to Vis Island, where you visit Komiža. After that, island of Hvar and Pakleni Islands. On day 4, you visit Korčula. On day 5, Pelješac, the peninsula, Lovište. Then after that, you return back towards a Split and you stop along the way to Hvar, but a different city this time, to Jelsa. And then from Brač, you go to Trogir, and on Saturday, it's checkout. So it's a Saturday cruise, and it's always Saturday. That's how the nautic tourism here in Croatia actually works.
Sorry, Andrea,
yes.
are the water toys included? There are motorized options, do you know?
Yes, the water toys are included here on these boats.
Okay, perfect.
When you rent a boat, you have these toys. So it's a jet ski or a kayak or smaller boats or something similar to that. Or water skis, just depends on which boat.
Okay. And just if you want to come back to the islands.
Okay.
So just for us to have an idea, each island has their own peculiarity. So there are specific things about each one of the islands, right? They are totally different one from each other. Can you just go over a little bit of that?
Yes, so we are going to go through that actually now. I'll just continue to the itinerary. If you all can just remember the map real quickly, or just go through it, where Split is, Brač, Hvar, Korčula, and then you from Korčula, you already start coming back to Split. But we are going to go through these locations now. You are going to see a couple of pictures. This here is Trogir and also Milna. So very, very similar locations that are truly, truly beautiful. They have much history and culture there. Milna is known as the Bay of 1,000 Ships, which is how Venetians used to call it. And it's located on the northwest side of the Brač. And it's a small fishing village, but it's really, really famous for the gastronomy and culture there. The Vis Island is famous for the Blue Cave that we already mentioned. Stiniva Bay, the second picture, it's a really beautiful hidden beach on Vis that's sort of hidden behind the cliffs. So it's interesting to visit it, and it has truly beautiful, pristine, crystal clear waters. And you also pass by the Stončica lighthouse, which is also on Vis Island. Hvar Island takes you through the Pakleni Islands. It's a small set of islands placed just outside of Hvar, with wild nature, but also some really great restaurants and locations placed there. The city of Hvar offers a number of activities to do once you're there. So if you're a cultural type, then you can go walking through the city. There are beautiful lavender fields just outside of the city available, but mostly from May to July. They are really great to visit. And Hvar is also known as a jet set area, but it's also very well adjusted for families. Korčula, another stunning town on a stunning island. Korčula is the name of the town, but also island. It's allegedly hometown of Marco Polo. So here you can find small themed shops and a museum in the honor. You can see on the third picture how Korčula was built on the island, and it's very famous for these beautiful red rooftops and the Moreška type of dance, a sword dance that you can see while you're visiting. Pelješac, it's an area a bit south from Korčula that's well known for its wine. So when you're passing through, you just have to do some wine tasting and enjoy dinner in famous Dalmatian dishes. The other part of Hvar Island holds a beautiful hidden place. It's a small town called Jelsa. Once you arrive there, you will just appreciate how peaceful and calm it is. And there are beautiful beaches there and small old buildings to explore, small churches, and wonderful areas for swimming. Jelsa is also known for a really great ice cream. So if you're there, you just need to taste that one. From Brač to Trogir, which is almost the last day of the travel. So Brač takes you to the wonderful beach called Zlatni Rat. It's a shape-shifting beach that's like a small pebble stones that basically shift. The peak shifts from left to right, depending on the currents in the sea and the winds. And then when you're back in Trogir, you have wonderful restaurants, shops, and so much history to explore. On the last day, you have breakfast and check out from Trogir. The good thing is that the airport of Split is actually placed between Trogir and Split. So if you're flying in or flying out just before and just after the cruise, this cruise is the perfect one for those clients, because it takes you just 15 minutes from the airport to get to Trogir and to embark on the ship. Another itinerary is South and Central Adriatic. This one is perfect for those clients starting from Dubrovnik and finishing in Split. So you go from Dubrovnik and explore Lopuda Island, which is part of Elafiti Islands. You go further north to Mljet, Korčula again, Pakleni Islands and Hvar. Bol Brač, the Golden Cape, Zlatni Rat Beach, and then it's Brač or Split, not Trogir, to check out. Very similar, but it just starts from Dubrovnik and finishes in Split. Now let's just go through the itinerary. So from Dubrovnik, I think we already talked a lot about Dubrovnik, so there's no need to stop a lot. You can just admire the pictures of the old town. Lopud Island and Dubrovnik, a lot of activities to do there. You can do the sea kayak or Game of Thrones tour or just enjoy the beautiful nature. Mjet Island, famous for the part of the national park where you can cycle, walk, kayak around the saltwater lakes or just walk through the to the island, through the area. On day 4, you visit Korčula. Then you go through Pakleni Islands on day 5 and Hvar. The Golden Cave Beach awaits you on day 6, and then 7 you go from Brač to Split. Once you're close to Split, you can do some adrenaline tours, or when you're in Brač, there's a really wonderful experience to do. It's called Wild Brač, where you basically do some horse riding in the sea. The checkout is on Saturday. As I mentioned before, all the cruises are from Saturday to Saturday. And here you can see the pictures of Split, which is, you know, from where you disembark from the cruise ship. How to book the Adriatic luxury cruise? Very easy. You just need to know how many people you have with you and choose one of those dates that we mentioned, one of those weeks, and then just contact us, and then we will do the rest and make sure that clients have the best time in their life. We also do the luxury sailing with sailing yachts, and there are wonderful itineraries that not just touch the central or South Dalmatia, but also the north part of Croatia, where you visit Rijeka, Pula, and go down from Rab, Lošinj, Dugi Otok, Kornati National Park to Šibenik and return back. I will just show you the experiences that are possible on the North Adriatic sailing, like wines and bites in Istria, hunting, truffle hunting adventure, fresco painting with true experts. You can experience some European safari on Brioni, or just enjoy the nature and history in harmony on the National Park of Brioni. Do some wine tasting or visit Pula and Rovinj, Opatija, Rijeka, those larger cities in Istria. Do some kayak adventure or follow the olive oil paths. Now, that would be it from us. I thank you for your attention. It was really, really wonderful to present Croatia and our itineraries to you. And we do hope that this will spark some interest and just provoke some new conversations. Now you have something new to offer to your clients for next year. And our team is here, of course, for all the assistance, all the questions you might have.
Perfect, thank you. Se alguém tiver alguma pergunta, quiser colocar no chat, se não pode escrever para a gente também, que a gente faz a conexão com as meninas da Travel Croatia. I think it's also important to mention that for me, the most impressive thing in Croatia was the gastronomy and the quality of the food, the wine and everything. So it's a little bit of a mix between Italy and the Mediterranean food, but super fresh. So this was a very pleasant surprise when I visited Croatia. And I think most of the people, they don't realize how amazing you have the gastronomy and the amazing wines. So this is also a hands up to everybody that it's a food lover like me. So thank you very much, girls. I think it was really interesting. And yes, we are going. A gente vai mandar todos os materiais para vocês. Vamos mandar esse vídeo também que vai ficar no nosso YouTube. Então, se vocês quiserem consultar depois, voltar em algum momento, a gente está gravando, então vai ficar no nosso canal de YouTube. E vamos mandar os itinerários, os detalhes dos barcos, e qualquer dúvida que vocês tiverem, vocês podem entrar em contato com a Ana Luísa para a gente fazer um bate-papo com o pessoal da Travel Croatia. Andrea, Janice queria saber, she would like to know about Croatia during the winter. Is that a good option or we should avoid, like January? What would you say?
I would say that there are great locations in Croatia to visit in January, but these experiences that we showed here are usually, from May or April to October based. In January, you can do some truffle hunting, some wine tasting, but the winters here are pretty cold. So if it snows somewhere in Zagreb, I don't know, there are people who are looking for that kind of experience too. But I guess you do need to know about the clients, what they are up to, what they want to do at that moment. It's really great to visit the north of Croatia and Istria in that period, but the coast is pretty much, I would say, closed. Most of the restaurants and bars are not working. Most of the experienced boats are out of the sea. There are no sailing options, no excursions available in that period. So January would be great for the north of Croatia. We actually do have something that we did not include here in this webinar, but I'm sure that the TL team will gladly share it once we share it with them. It's still pretty early, but we do have some excellent Christmas programs, which is in December and a small part of January, and they are based in Zagreb. So it's worth visiting. There's a huge fair there that's been awarded a couple of years in a row as the best one in Europe. So that's Zagreb is a great option for January.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much. And if we have more questions or we would like to design some itineraries together with the advisors, we are free to book some time with you guys. And I think this was a really, really great presentation and just right on time so we can prepare to sail the next season especially for the coast. Thank you, ladies. I hope you have a great week ahead.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Obrigada a todo mundo que nos assistiu. Esperamos ver vocês nos nossos próximos webinars também. Até mais.